I got a concussion from ice skating because I'm really bad at it and I flipped upside down and hit the back of my head on the ice. So the cause of my concussion was volleyball. This is actually really embarrassing because I'm sure it's the lamest way that anyone has ever gotten a concussion. But I was playing volleyball, I played front row. The other team had just hit the ball over to our side of the court and my teammate, it was an overpass. And so I was transitioning from the net back to our side, to hit, and then I was going back up to the net since she passed it too far. So I was on my way up to the net, and the girl across the net from me was a really, really good volleyball player. She had already committed to go to a D1 school and was really scary. She hit me. It hit me in the face, which I don't remember, and then I fell back and hit my head on the ground, which I also don't remember.
I was in 7th grade and I was really late to class, and I went to a private school, so they were super strict about being late, and we only had so much time to transition to the next class. And I was hurrying, I ran in to my next class, I swung open the door, and these were big, heavy private school doors. And there's a girl standing behind it, and the door bounced off of her tennis shoe, and then came back in, and by that time my head was in between the door and the wall, and it just crushed it, and it went back and forth, and then I blacked out for a few seconds.
When I was 17 and a senior in high school, I was at church actually, and walking past the door, and an old man opened the door at the same time I walked by, and so the corner of the door hit my head right here really hard. And I went home and I slept for probably 7 or 8 hours, and my mom told me I probably had a concussion, and I did, and it didn't go away for 3 months, and I had constant headaches, but eventually it did.
When I was in college, I got a concussion playing frisbee. I was throwing around with a couple of my friends. One of them threw it, and me and my other friend both went for it, and he's twice my size. But my head ended up hitting his shoulder. We ran into each other and I fell and my head hit the ground. And to this day, I can't remember really anything of that happened that night. And they told me that my memory from that whole weekend was gone too. That came back later, but my memory of that night was totally gone still. I just remember feeling a lot of pain in my head and just little flashes of my friends walking around making sure I was okay, and my roommates yelling at me to wake up whenever I was falling asleep. It was a pretty weird experience, but I ended up being fine. Effects didn't last very long. It was just that night.
I had a pretty funny experience when I got a concussion. I was in elementary school, 5th or 6th grade, and me and a friend were running a reverse in football, just recess football. And he thought I was going inside, I thought I was going outside, whatever, we got mixed up. And instead of handing the ball off correctly, we just kind of ran into each other and got a concussion. It hurt really bad, and I was out for a couple weeks from anything. I think I hit my head on his chin, so he was completely fine. Didn't even seem to bug him, but for some reason his chin, I guess, was just a lot stronger than my forehead, and yeah, sucked.